Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do a camera comparison of two dual camera smartphones in India, the Vivo V9 with the Xiaomi's Redmi Note 5 Pro. So Redmi Note 5 Pro is one of the really good camera smartphone in the sub 15k price segment in India, and now we have the Vivo V9 which is slightly in a different price segment, but it also comes with a dual camera setup and it also has a really great selfie camera. So in this video we'll talk about the camera aspects of these two devices. So we'll analyze the camera samples taken with these two devices under different light conditions, the selfie camera, the video recording, and also the rear camera performance. So let's get started with the detailed camera comparison. So first step, let's have a look at the camera specifications of these two devices. So first step, the Vivo V9. It comes with a dual camera, 16 megapixel primary camera and 5 megapixel secondary camera with f-stop 2.0 aperture, LED flash, and on the front panel we have a 24 megapixel selfie camera, again with f-stop 2.0 aperture. Now talking about the Redmi Note 5 Pro, it comes with a primary 12 megapixel camera and a secondary 5 megapixel camera for depth sensing, LED flash, f-stop 2.2 aperture, and on the front panel we have a 20 megapixel selfie camera, again with f-stop 2.2 aperture. So first step, let's have a look at the video recording sample taken from these two devices. So this is the 1080p sample taken with both these devices, and you can see that the colors are a bit more punchier on the Vivo V9, and it is a bit more closer to actual colors on the Redmi Note 5 Pro. And also the Redmi Note 5 Pro has electronic image stabilization, and hence the video looks a bit more polished and smoother, and when compared to the Vivo V9 where the video looks a bit shaky when walking. So in the video recording abilities, we will say the Redmi Note 5 Pro has an edge here, but the Vivo V9 also has this 4K recording feature, which is right now not available, although you can do with the third-party apps on the Redmi Note 5 Pro. Now next step, let's have a look at the daylight captures. So these are the daylight captures taken with these two devices. So this is one of the really tough camera comparisons we have done of late. So one thing to note that the Vivo V9 images are a bit more punchier and colors are a bit more saturated in nature on the Vivo V9 when compared to the Redmi Note 5 Pro, which has more or less like the natural colors. But having said that, a lot of people like punchier colors, and for them Vivo V9 definitely does a really good job. And when it comes to sharpness levels and details, both these devices are really good and does a really good job in that department. So it's a really tough job to decide which is the better camera out there. But if you're a person who likes punchier colors or a bit saturated colors, then the Vivo V9 makes much better sense. And if you're a person who wants realistic colors or natural colors, then the Redmi Note 5 Pro makes a better choice. So these are the daylight captures taken with these two devices. Now next step, let's have a look at the close-up images. So here again you could see that both these devices produce some really great close-up samples, and both have almost similar quality as well. Again a bit more punchier colors are produced by Vivo V9 and a bit more natural colors are produced by the Redmi Note 5 Pro. So both these devices does a really good job in terms of the close-up images. Now next step, let's have a look at the low light performance. So this is one area where the Vivo V9 falls short when compared to the performance of the Redmi Note 5 Pro. We can also see that the Redmi Note 5 Pro has better low light abilities, and the noise levels are slightly higher on the Vivo V9, and the details are not as good as the daylight captures, and this is one area where the Redmi Note 5 Pro wins in the low light performance. So here you can see that the Redmi Note 5 Pro has more details in the low light captures, and also the noise levels are lesser. Now next step, let's have a look at the portrait samples. So again here we feel the portrait samples, both the camera did a really good job, but we would be slightly inclined to choose the Redmi Note 5 Pro for overall portrait samples. So this is the video recording taken using the front-facing camera on the Vivo V9. So this is a selfie-centric smartphone with a 24 megapixel selfie camera, and the interesting aspect of this camera is that it can record videos in 4K resolution as well. And this is the 1080p sample we have taken using the Vivo V9 24 megapixel camera. So you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the sound output from the video. So this is the video recording taken using the front-facing camera on the Xiaomi's Redmi Note 5 Pro. So this is again a selfie-centric smartphone with a 20 megapixel selfie camera, and it can record videos in 1080p resolution, and you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is from this 1080p resolution on the Redmi Note 5 Pro. Now finally, the selfie experience. So here again we can see that both these devices does a really good job. It's a really tough job to decide which is the best selfie camera out there. The 24 megapixel Vivo V7, Vivo V9 and the 20 megapixel Redmi Note 5 Pro does almost similar performance in terms of selfies. Only the skin tones is slightly different on both these devices. Now finally, the bokeh shots taken with both these devices, and here you can see that both these devices does a really good job. You can also see the edge detection on both the cameras was almost similar. We can't really choose one as better than the other. So here we feel the Redmi Note 5 Pro bokeh shots were a bit more consistent when compared to the Vivo V9. Vivo V9 also does a really good job with the bokeh shots. Now finally, the low light selfies. Here again we feel both does a really good job, but when you are using extreme low light selfies, the Redmi Note 5 Pro does a better job because it has actual LED flash, while the Vivo V9 has a screen flash. But overall we feel both these devices does a decent job in terms of the low light selfies as well. So now summing up, which is a better camera smartphone out of these two devices? So it's a tough job to decide one camera out of these two. The Vivo V9 definitely has a good rear camera, except for that fact that it has a bit saturated images. Other than that, the details are pretty good and overall clarity also looks good. Now the low light performance was better on the Redmi Note 5 Pro, and also the video recording was better on the Redmi Note 5 Pro. Other than that, almost all other cases it was almost similar experience. And now finally, the one thing to note, the pricing. The Redmi Note 5 Pro is a sub 15k price segment device, while the Vivo V9 is above the 20k price segment. So if price doesn't matter and you want a really premium looking smartphone, the Vivo V9 definitely makes sense with the good camera abilities. But if you're on a tight budget, the Redmi Note 5 Pro with a better video recording and better portrait samples along with better low light images looks a good choice. So that was the detailed camera comparison of these two devices. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the red subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.